Hey guys, what's up? So today I would like to share an experience that I had, well, at least within the time I upload this video, that I experienced last week. And that is, I actually got to visit Miami, and interestingly for one day. Well, that's possible because I actually live in Florida. So here are some of the shots that I recorded while I was down in Miami. Now, why am I showing you guys all this Miami stuff? Isn't your channel kind of gaming related? Well, that's where we get to the good part, because while I was down in Miami, I got to visit this awesome place named Arcade Odyssey. And it is the most freaking craziest awesome arcade I have ever been to, because it is filled to the brim with all these arcade cabinets, both old and new. So in this video, I will be sharing you guys some of the experiences that I had in this arcade, and I really hope you guys enjoy it, because if you guys like this, there will be more of this down the road. But without further ado, let's go. And before we begin, I want to say one little disclaimer, is that I tried to take video footage, but it proved to be way too dark for the camera, so I had to resort to making photos of it instead. Alright, so the first machine that I managed to try out was actually Crazy Taxi. Now, I do have the Dreamcast port, and I am amazing on the Dreamcast port, and unfortunately, I was not as awesome with the arcade version because I wasn't used to the racing wheel controls for this game. So I ended up doing pretty badly, but nonetheless, I had a lot of fun with it. And the next game that I got to try out was Street Fighter Third Strike, which I believe is the most underrated Street Fighter. This game really deserves a lot more love because it was a whole lot of fun. So yes, I got to play this game as Ken, and I managed to knock out a couple rounds, but eventually I got my butt handed to in a few of the later rounds, because that's usually how fighting games in the arcades work. And the next game that I got to try out was Space Invaders, and I got a very funny story with this game, and that is usually I beat my dad in every single video game, but this is the one game that he actually managed to get a higher score than me at. But then again, this was the first time I ever played this game, so Dad, if you're watching, I don't think this counts. Oh, this arcade cabinet is really cool. So I believe it's called Suduo, I'm not so sure, but basically the gist of this thing is that it's supposed to simulate that you're like an actual pod and you're flying and stuff. And they do this by making you sit in this red pod that actually has a flight joystick and throttle and everything. And the cool thing is that it actually vibrates as well. Now, I believe that this machine was kind of broken when I went on it, because it would always keep vibrating even though there was nothing on the screen. But nonetheless, it was a very cool experience and I really enjoyed it. Haha, very funny picture of me, Dad. Well, anyways, yeah, after my dad just took a picture of me reaching for coins in my pocket, I got to play this Ghostbusters pinball machine. And this game will probably mean a lot to me down the road, because this is actually the very first pinball machine I've ever played. So what are my thoughts about this machine? Well, I absolutely enjoyed it. It was really cool and crazy because the whole time you were playing, it would play the Ghostbusters theme throughout the whole entire playthrough, and I was just wrecking up this machine, man. I was getting like the highest scores and all that stuff, and it was really fun. And then after that pinball machine, I went to play OutRun 2, and as you can probably see, the screen really needs a repair because it's all bluish right now. So anyways, back to OutRun 2. This was the most successful game I ever played in the arcade, because I actually almost beat this game. I actually got like to one of the very last level of Route A, and I just simply ran out of time. And if you know anything about OutRun, time is very critical in that game if you really want to succeed. You really cannot mess up and stuff like that, and I messed up a few during the game. But no, I absolutely love OutRun. Most likely, you will like the music too, because the music that's been playing throughout this whole entire video actually came from OutRun 2. So yeah, if you like the music that's playing right now, you will love the soundtrack of OutRun 2. And after I played OutRun 2, I went straight back to the pinball machines, because I played this AC/DC pinball machine. And to be honest, I didn't find it as fun as the Ghostbusters one, mainly because I always felt cheated about how somehow the pinball would always roll between where the two flippers were, so I couldn't actually hit it with the flippers, and I felt so cheated out of that. And that's probably why they put the AC/DC name on top of it, so that they know that suckers like me who is an AC/DC fan would definitely play this game. But yeah, how many of you guys are AC/DC fans? I would like to know in the comment section down below. My favorite song from them is Rock and Roll Train, and they actually messed up the title of it on this pinball machine. They actually labeled it as Runaway Train. So yeah, everything about this machine is screwed up. So the next pinball machine that I got to play was Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Yes, I had to say it in a gothic-like voice because Terminator deserves that. I love Terminator. But this arcade machine was... I liked it more than the AC/DC one, but I didn't like it as much as the Ghostbusters one because this game was simply way too freaking fast. This game was a really fast-paced pinball machine, and on top of that, it was very dimly lit, unlike the Ghostbusters one. So you couldn't really see the pinball that well. But nonetheless, I still really enjoyed this one. And that was the last pinball machine that I played because after that, I went straight up and played Mega Man 2 the arcade game. And I really enjoyed this one. And I believe this is also the same one that the Happy Console Gamer played as well. And I'm gonna give a shout out to them because they're an awesome channel. But yeah, this game is really awesome. It's very similar to the game on the Nintendo Entertainment System, but there are no platforming levels. This is just simply like boss battles and stuff like that. And it was really fun to play them. And then afterwards, I played Marvel vs. Capcom 2, which is such an awesome game. Now, I actually do not have this game yet for the Dreamcast. I do have the original one though, but not the second one. So the only way I can actually really play it legitly is still in the arcades. And needless to say, it was pretty fun. So the characters that I picked for my team was Spider-Man, yes, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and you could probably see him on that top left corner of that screen somewhere. It's kind of hard to make out, but yeah, I picked Spider-Man. I also picked Mega Man and also Ryu. Yeah, very interesting choices. But needless to say, I had a lot of blast. And unfortunately, I could not beat the game, but I really did enjoy it nonetheless. Oh yeah, look at me pimping out with my dual wield action. But yeah, anyways, I got to play House of the Dead, which is a very interesting game because that was the very first arcade game I have ever played in my life. And wow, they really did a good restoration job on this machine because it's like in mint condition. It looks really good. And I had a lot of fun with it. I got to play with my dad as well, although he kept dying all the time. But hey, it's no problem because me and him had some fun time shooting up zombies. And then next, I got to play this awesome Dragon Ball Z game. Now, I haven't actually watched Dragon Ball Z, and it's probably a sin that I haven't. I really should watch it. But I freaking love this game. Now, this game is actually very kind of similar to Power Stone in that you can actually free roaming around and stuff like that. Now, you can't throw objects and use weapons like you can in Power Stone, but the coolest thing is that I don't have a picture of this, but if you like tap a certain button twice, your character just freaking flies into the air and he just floats around while the other character just stands underneath him and just tries to kick you but fails. But yeah, I really like this game because it is over 9,000 in awesomeness. And then I got to play Silent Scope, and this game is really interesting because you use that big freaking sniper that I'm aiming at right there, and you're supposed to like view through the viewfinder and then shoot the bad guys. Now this game does get really hard though. I mean like really hard because some of the targets move really fast and it's really hard to keep up with the scope of that sniper rifle. So after Silent Scope, I went on and played Virtual On, which is a really interesting game because you use this twin sticks, as you can clearly see in that picture. And it basically kind of controls like a tank in a way, and you use those twin sticks in order to fight with your characters. But it is a very unique experience that I got to try out in the arcade. And last but not least, I got to play this game, Fighting Mania, which is a really physical game, and I'm going to explain why. So as you can see on the screen right now, you probably see all those red targets and how I'm carrying those black boxing gloves. Well, what you're supposed to do is that those red targets will come flinging at you and they will have like a red light flashing on them. You're supposed to punch it as soon as the red light flashes on, and that will give you like points and all that stuff. In the meantime, there's actually like a little TV screen inside of the cabinet with the character like taunting you and stuff like that. It is really freaking cool. And I really did enjoy this game because I guarantee you this game will give you a workout. So yeah, that was my experience at Arcade Odyssey. I really had a fun time at this place. And if you ever come down to Miami, I guarantee you need to come to this place because it is freaking amazing. And with that, this concludes my review of the Arcade Odyssey. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this video because if you do, I'll be sure to make more videos like this along the way. But with that being said, this is the Sega Genicast, and my name is Michael, and may the force be with you.